right, well, hello. So before the College of St. Rose closes, there will be 5 more evaluation periods that will need to be deployed. So we have the first half semester courses, the School of Business 11-week evaluations, the spring second half semester evals, spring full semester evaluations, and then the summer 1 course evaluations. The dates for those evaluations to be deployed are listed on the slide here. And we do have these reminders set up in the OLS calendar as well. So just a couple things to know about deploying the evals. The results must be released to the instructors 48 hours after grades are due for that term. And results are released to department chairs and deans the day after the eval period closes. So just a couple settings to keep in mind when you are creating the evaluations. So before launching the evaluations, the admin assistants at each division will need to sort the evaluation periods to make sure that the correct courses are listed in those projects. We do have instructions for their team in our SharePoint site. And we also have a Tango tutorial as well as a Zoom recording from a meeting we had back in October. You will need to reach out to them multiple times to make sure that they are able to go through the evaluation periods before deployment. Otherwise, there might be some confusion in terms of what courses are in the eval period. So let's make our way over to Watermark. All right, so you'll need to go to the strohs.evaluationkit.com link. If for some reason we have people outside of OLS that are doing these steps, they can access it through Canvas. So that's something else to keep in mind. They would just need to change it to admin rather than instructor. So if we log into our account, we're going to make our way over to the surveys and projects drop-down menu. Something to keep in mind about the course evaluations, they need to have a project in order to be deployed. So the survey is attached to the project. So for example, we have the course evaluation survey from winter 2023. This has that course eval survey within it. We're essentially just creating new eval periods in projects. So let's go to projects. Okay, and we already have some evaluation periods already created. Essentially what we're going to do is we're going to copy the settings from another eval period. So, and then change the dates when they are deployed. So in this column or this row here, we're going to click on copy and update the title of the project. So I'm just going to do demo. And then for my evaluation project, I would do the term and the year. Next, we have to deselect some of the options here. So most of these can stay. You just need to take out start and end dates, term, and folder, because you're going to select which term and the start dates, and folder is an unnecessary selection. So once we have these, we're going to click copy. And you'll get this little window that pops up saying that it's going to be copied. You'll just hit OK. And it will send you an email notification, but these copies don't take very long. So if you just hit refresh, that option should appear at the top. If for some reason this is sorted in a different manner, you can use the ID number, or you can do the creation date so you can get this option at the top. Once you've created your project, let's go ahead and change those settings. So I'm going to click on the title. And you'll see here that for this project, we have the start date as February 25th, but we're going to change that by going to Edit. And this will bring us to the Properties tab, where we would select the start date. So let's say I wanted to deploy this on March 11th. And I'm going to change this so it launches at midnight. So then hit close. And for the end date, I'm going to select it so it's the last day of the semester. So let's say if this was a half semester evaluation period, our last day could be the 25th. And we want to change this so it's 11:59 p.m. So the evaluation periods need to be 2 weeks long. So it needs to be 2 weeks from the last day of classes for that semester. So in this case, that is March 11th. Okay. Then once we get the start date and the end date selected, we can scroll down to the Manage Courses section. So this is where we have to set up the dates that the admin assistants can edit the courses that are in the evaluation period. So here I'm going to say that they can access it as soon as possible. So I'm going to put that for today's date. And then for the access end date, I'm going to put that for the last day of the evaluation period. So that was March 25th in this example. So that will give the admin assistants plenty of time to make any changes that need to be made even after the eval period is deployed. So once we have that setting all set, we're going to scroll down and click Save. Then we'll have this green bar that says the project has been saved, but we do have a few more changes we need to make first before we can deploy this project. Next, we're going to go into courses. And we're going to do a data import from Canvas. Okay, so the next thing we'll need to do is we'll need to resync the courses. Because essentially, if we try searching for those courses now in the fields down here, we might get an error message. So I find it's best practice just to resync the courses with Canvas to make sure that we are getting the most up-to-date information from Canvas, which is pulling information from Banner. So if I click Resync Courses, I'm going to select the accounts, click the College of St. Rose, and that's going to select all of these options. But I'm going to deselect these top options here. So we have just the College of St. Rose and the individual schools. And I'm also going to deselect St. Peter's as well, and staff offices. So make sure that we scroll down, make sure we got all of the options selected that we need. Then I'm going to hit select. Next, I'm going to select the term that I want to pull the courses from. So for this example, I'm going to use spring 2024 and then click close. So we have all of our accounts selected as well as the terms that we're pulling from Canvas. So I'm going to click go. And that's going to pull up another little pop-up window that's asking me if I'm sure I want to resync the data with Canvas. I'm going to hit OK. And it's going to take a little second. So just to make sure that everything is good to go, I'm just going to hit refresh to make sure that the courses are all set. Next, I'm going to go to accounts. And same thing that I did on that other screen. I'm just going to make sure that I'm pulling the correct courses from Canvas. Okay, so we got our 5 options here selected. Hit close. Now I'm going to scroll down to filter options and I'm going to select term. And then in the search bar, I'm going to look for spring 2024 and then hit search. Okay. So next we have all of our courses that are listed here. However, I do recommend that you scroll all the way down to the bottom. And for the records per page option, you'll see that it defaults to 100 courses. The total for this is 850. So I always like to make sure that I have all of the courses visible on the same page. So I do the highest setting of 2,000 records per page. Okay, now I'm going to scroll back up to the top and go down to select courses to import. And I'm going to select this checkbox next to course code. And this is going to select all of the courses that were pulled up in my search. And now I'm going to scroll all the way back down to the bottom. So now that I have all of my courses selected, I'm going to give my data import a name. And the reason that I recommend doing a data import name is, especially if you're doing multiple evaluation periods or multiple projects, you might be getting a lot of email notifications. So you just want to make sure that you have it labeled what data import you are getting notified about. This just makes it easier and keeps your email a little bit more organized. So in this case, I would do the data import and then the term and the year, just so I know what one I am doing it for. Once you're done putting the name in there, you're going to select import data. Just like when you saved the project settings, is going to have a green bar at the bottom saying that the courses are being imported. So next, I'm going to go back up to the top. And I'm going to go to the report setup. If you want to double check that the survey is attached, you can click on survey. This is that course survey I was telling you about that needs to be attached to a project in order to deploy the course evaluations. If you want to double check the communication settings, so what students or how students are notified about the course evals, you can go through here as well. But we have been using the same settings throughout, so it really hasn't changed drastically since we've started using Watermark. So those are just a couple options that you can double check if you'd like, but not entirely necessary. So let's go to report setup. So here we have the access for administrators. So these are the deans and department chairs. This is when they will be able to access the evaluations after the period has ended. So if we click on the start date, we normally give them access the next day after the evaluation period ends. So in this case, that would be March 26th. And we keep the access open so that way they can always pull reports and they always have access to the evaluations. And same thing with the course level reports. It's going to be the same date as the access start date. Now for the instructors, they are required to have their grades submitted before they can receive their course evaluations. And we normally allow them access 48 hours after grades are due. So let's say, for example, that the grades are due on the 25th. I'm going to allow them access, say, the 27th or 28th. Okay. So once that is all set, you would click save. And you'll see that green bar again saying that it has been saved. And the last step is going to deploy project. So lastly, you would click the deploy button. If for some reason there is an issue with the evaluation period, you would have the option to suspend the project and then redeploy it if necessary. But that is everything that you need to know about creating a course evaluation project in Watermark. If you have any questions, we do have a couple of resources on the SharePoint site, as well as you can look at the help guide in Watermark as well. And they should be able to assist you if you contact support. So that is everything you need to know.